I want you to watch the irresponsible, incompetence, and very confused and arrogant Femi Adesina telling Nigerians why their president or their presidency, because I say Nigeria don't have president, what they have is presidency, cannot address the citizens on this pandemic coronavirus issue. Now, listen to him and you will listen to the American president. Watch.
Now, speaking of one of the major things, we've looked around. You said this is a global war. Definitely. We see, how countries are responding to this. And, of course, how Nigeria is responding, which has been commended in some quarters. But one thing a lot of people are still worried about is the fact that they don't see daily briefings from president, for example. I mean, you look around other nations and you see how the leaders, brief the citizens on a daily basis. And it begs the question, why does it appear as though the president does not want to brief the nation on a daily basis about this, or at least regularly?
It's a matter of style. If we go back to school, you remember in stylistics class, we were told that style is idiosyncratic, which means it differs from person to person. The style that A adopts may not be the one that B adopts, and there is no style that you can call the style for everybody. So everybody is at liberty to adopt a style that suits him.
Right.
The style our president has adopted is to set up a presidential task force headed by the secretary to the government of the federation, which briefs regularly. You have the health minister who briefs. You have the Minister of State Health who also briefs. You have the NCDC, National Center for Disease Control. They brief.
Mr.
You have that change.
Did you hear that? The president have style, and it is not the kind of, or the presidency have style. Their own style is not to come to the public to talk. Rather, they have people who manages the affairs of the government. And those people are giving press briefing on daily basis. This man, Adesina.
That change.
A moment, and that's understandable.
There is no lack of information.
That's understandable. But, Nigerians will cast their minds back to the period of the 2019 election campaign where the president actually spoke to Nigerians at every point during that campaign. And they're wondering, what happened to the love? Has the love been lost? Sort of.
No, there are two incommensurate. Campaign is campaign. This you cannot parallel with a campaign. This is about a day-to-day affair of the country. No, you can't compare the two. If it becomes imperative for the president himself to speak, he will speak. But the president's style...
He finally answered the question. Campaign is campaign, while governance is governance. So during the campaign, the president can go to any rally, but when it comes to governance, they become incapacitated. That is what he's explaining here. Now continue watching.
The style is that when he gives you an assignment, he leaves you to do it. There are people that he has set up in committees, in task forces, in groups, and they are doing the work, and they keep Nigerians abreast with developments. So he lets them do it.
All right, Mr. Femi Adesina, I would like to thank you so much. We understand that you probably have some other work to do, but thank you for the update.
This was the same Femi Adesina who told Nigerians to go and die if they are not happy with the APC and Buhari. He said it on this same channel television. Now, watch the president of America, who don't have anybody working with him according to the style of leadership, because there is division of labor. Watch the difference in what we call leadership. This is Donald Trump.
Thank you. Beautiful day. Very good what you're doing. Look at all those empty seats. Never seen it like that. Oh boy, how the world has changed. How the world has changed, right? But it's going to end up being better than ever. I want to thank you very much for being here, and I'd like to update you on the steps we're taking. on our ongoing fight to defeat the virus. This morning at 7:55, I spoke to the leaders of the G20, had a great meeting, and we have a lot of different ideas, a lot of good ideas. We're working together. The leaders gathered virtually around the world to discuss the whole subject of the problem that right now 151 nations have got. We had President Alberto Fernandez of Argentina, Prime Minister Scott Morrison of Australia, President Jair Bolsonaro of Brazil, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau of Canada, President Xi of China, President Emmanuel Macron of France, Chancellor Angela Merkel of Germany, Prime Minister Modi of India, President Widodo of Indonesia, Prime Minister Giuseppe Conte of Italy, Prime Minister Shinzo Abe of Japan. Congratulations to Japan on making a great decision on the Olympics. Going to make it next year, 2021. President Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador of Mexico. I want to thank the President of Mexico for having done such a great job with respect to the military. We have 27,000 Mexican soldiers on our southern border, and very few people are getting through, I can tell you that. We got to keep it that way. And we have a great relationship with Mexico now. President Putin of Russia, King Salman of Saudi Arabia, President Ramaphosa of South Africa, President Moon of, as you know, a country that we spend a lot of time in, South Korea. We're working very hard on that. Prime Minister Sanchez of Spain, President Erdogan of Turkey, Prime Minister Boris Johnson of the United Kingdom, President of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, President of the European Council, Charles Michel, United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres, World Health Organization Director Tedros Adhanom, World Bank President David Malpass, and the International Monetary Fund Managing Director Kristalina Georgieva. So that's a big group, but it's a great group. It's and they were all there, every one of them, and we talked about the problem, and hopefully it won't be a problem for too much longer. The United States is working with our friends and partners around the world to stop the spread of the virus and coordinate our efforts. We discussed how vitally important it is for all of our nations to immediately share information and data, and we've been doing that to a large extent, but we'll do it even more so, and to inform our, I guess you could say, inform each of us on the fight that we've got going one way or the other. It's a little bit different, but we're handling it a little bit in different ways. But there is great uniformity, I think. It was a terrific meeting, tremendous spirit among all of those countries. You had 20 countries plus the other people that I mentioned, and tremendous spirit to get this over with. After the meeting with the world leaders, I spoke with the governors of our 50 states and territories. Our team has been in constant communication with the governors, and we had a terrific meeting. Somebody in the fake news said that one of the governors said, "Oh, we need Tom Brady." I said, "Yeah." He meant that in a positive way. He said, "We need Tom Brady. We're going to do great." And he meant it very positively, but they took it differently. They think Tom Brady should be leading the effort. That's only fake news, and I like Tom Brady. Spoke to him the other day. He's a great guy. But I wish the news could be real. I wish it could be honest. I wish it weren't corrupt. But so much of it is. It's so sad to see. Just so sad to see. We had a great meeting. I tell you what, I'm sure you have tapes of the meeting. I'm sure that you were able to get tapes very easily. So you had 50 governors plus. And if you had tapes, you'd see it was really, I mean, there's no contention. I would say virtually none. I would say maybe one person, there was a little tiny bit.
Now, one thing about this video here is that they recognized every president that participated, but Nigeria president was not mentioned. In fact, Nigeria has been cleaned from the map of country that are making any impact in anything. So all the Nigeria presidency, they are all on self-exile in Cuba. The Abba Kaere and the one who paraded himself as president. Meanwhile, other world powers, other presidents are busy briefing their countries, their citizens on what they have done. Do you think that President Trump don't have health minister? Do you think that President Trump don't have committees on coronavirus? But look at him. He is here. And even the journalists, the audience side, the seats are empty. Like you heard him very well. Now, this press briefing took about 1 hour. Trump stood on that podium for 1 good hour to address the world, address Americans. And every other president are doing the same. Message of hope. And Nigeria, they are running to exile, looking from one country to another where they will have incubator. Shameless people, including this one called Femi Adesina, that his stomach is growing on daily basis. And he will be walking on the street of Lagos and Nigeria. Shameless.